Why is International Women's Day important? Because women are unique. You know, we are, like you mentioned, we are not like men. We have our own unique qualities that we bring in. And I think it's always very good to celebrate difference and to celebrate the uniqueness that women bring to the table. We also live in an environment that's very patriarchal, right? If you look at the last elections we've just had, presidential elections, I think there was only one female presidential candidate. And we know that in terms of the representation of women in politics and in leadership, we still have quite a way to go. The way I look at it is, you can't just have, in a family, you have the mother and you have the father and you have the children. And everybody brings something to the table to make that family successful. In a nation, you also have men and women and youth, I must say. And we all have to play our part in making the nation successful. And where only one voice is heard, then we can't really be successful. So not only have I worked across over 30 years actually, and across different jurisdictions. So I've worked in the corporate sector in Nigeria, in the UK, in Bermuda, in Canada. Each environment has its own cultural challenges. Each environment has its own inherent inbuilt barriers. And there's no doubt that there is a glass ceiling, you know, when it comes to women being able to be everything, you know, and fulfill, you know, everything that they desire to do from a career perspective. You get to places where within your career development, you hit that glass ceiling. And sometimes, you know, you are in an environment where it's been shattered by people who have gone before you. And other times you have to be the one who is bold enough to shatter those glass ceilings. But I also recognize that my being here and my, not just being here, but fighting to ensure that the junior managers and the middle managers break through to senior and executive management, that certain things and policies, which is what I'm responsible for, are put in place to ensure that women who go away to have children can come back to work. We have a lactation room, for instance, here, where they can express milk for their children. We had a chief legal officer who traveled for business with her baby and was allowed to take her baby on business trips. Those type of things actually help retain good talent within the company and ensure that, you know, they don't leave because they have no other option. Yeah, so have I faced discrimination as a result of my sex? Not in this country, I must say, interestingly. Within the context of work, I would say no. But within the context of the wider society, of course, I'm a single parent, and certainly our society does not favor you parenting a child on your own, even though many women do, both single and married. But you face that discrimination. And I think that sometimes the way people would regard you and judge you without giving you an opportunity, maybe sometimes based on your sex and also on your socially, on your sex, and also in terms of your status, your marital status. Equity is all about fairness, right? And equality is about, okay, treating one person the same as the other person. Treating one person the same as the other person may not necessarily be fair, amount to fairness. And that's why I think equity is really, really important. And, you know, we do have to understand that women are different. We are framed differently. So giving me the same opportunities as a man may not be best for me. So I think the way you judge value, you know, has to be different when it comes to men and women, and has to be reflected. And that is equity. I would say the most significant advice, I was given that advice last year, and that advice was stop seeking permission to be. Just be yourself. Stop waiting for permission. And I think as women, we are groomed from childhood to ask for permission. And it's okay to ask for permission to do certain things where you're under authority. But to be yourself, almost sometimes we feel we have to ask for permission to just exist, to be. And then this year, one of my colleagues was speaking to me in my office, and we were talking about, something that we are doing as an organization. And I said, well, I'll call our boss and ask for permission. And he said to me, he said, Miss Jags, which is what they call me, stop asking for permission to be. He said to me, he said, just lean in. You don't need permission, just do it and let them tell you why you can't, why you shouldn't be in the room. And that to me has been a real, we always look for growth every year. And some people say, oh, you're at the height of your career now. How could you possibly further grow? But that to me was a major growth point. Word that this person had given to me saying, stop looking for permission to be or asking for permission to be. And I then remembered what my colleague had told me. And this is a time to really step forward and just be yourself. Bring your talents to the fore. Don't ask for permission to speak. Don't ask for permission to showcase what you're bringing to the table, and what you can bring to the table. Just lean in. Take risks. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. What is important is how you recover from those mistakes. There's no competition. Yeah. That is basically the advice I would give. We're not competing with you. Everybody is unique. Everybody has something that they bring into the table that nobody else can bring to the table. Men, women have to see themselves as individuals, as distinct, as unique, as separate, and as whole human beings. People will make room for you when they feel you have something to offer. So yes, sometimes you have to get to that point where you are seen. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to acquire the skills, and then you have to be bold enough and courageous enough to step up and say, I can do this. You need to rid yourself of certain stereotypes as well. And we need to rid ourselves of stereotypes and rid other people of the stereotypes that we've cast on them or placed on them. Equity is important because it allows you to recognize people's differences, and it allows them to take their place in whether it's an organization and be a productive part of that organization, when you're not trying to fit them into a box. My name is Ayotola Jagun, and I am the Chief Compliance Officer and Company Secretary of Owando PLC. I would like to wish the women of Polo, the women of distinction, of quality, luxury, women who know their worth, and women all over the world who are full of worth, a happy International Women's Day. And I embrace you and embrace equality and embrace your diversity.